Valar Morgulis, that is, welcome to Rauta. I'm Jerry, and this time once again we have Underground Trio episode along the way here, and that means we have 3 different releases from 3 different parts of the world. One from Australia, this one band, I think it was Netherlands, and then we have something from Finland. All in all, we could say experimental metal, black metal, and crushed / hardcore punk metallic ways. And of course these go, according to my own opinion anyway, best from worst to best, that is. Alright, let's get it done, and I'm trying to sort it out, figuring out the last steps before talking to you about these albums releases in question. First we'll head to Finland with a band called Vaina. This doesn't really translate, at least in modern Finnish, anyway reasonably, so let's leave it at that. And this is, I think, the 3rd album by this one-man project. Very, very mystical. Even Metal Archive's site doesn't have anything on the member. I mean, one member only. Not the year when this band was founded, nor even the city where this is. So it seems very, very mystical one-man project. And I reviewed the previous album that it came in 2022, and it was weird music. I would say experimental as such. And the same goes with this 3rd album, Unio Mystica, or Unio Mystica. Now, this is something that Metal Archives has labeled as black metal, but I think it's a little bit far-fetched, because the music is more like experimental nature of things. That is, there's lots of clean vocals, most likely a lot of reverb, and going like, oh, kind of a thing, you know. It's almost like a folkier thing, but then you get these black metal scream vocals, which are pretty good, but, you know, that those alone obviously don't justify something being called as black metal. I mean, that's kind of a given. When it comes to the riffs, some of them are like, whatever is going on, I don't find the red thread, I don't find the, you know, thing, what's going on, what's supposed to happen there, and all. And then there are lots of synths creating more like atmospheric parts. There are sometimes even somewhat semi-catchy melodies, but it's all pretty much, in my opinion, rather a mess. And of course there's a horrible atrocity known as drum machine, really, really poorly done. So to me this looks like a experimental solo project that flirts with black metal given, but overall is just weird music, unique as such, but not really something that you would call captivating, memorable, and interesting. So to me, the pointers are drum machine, but it's horrible. Lots of those clean vocals, which are not obviously singing nice and clearly, but more like kind of a instrumental thing. And then you have those scream vocals. To be honest, I don't know to which kind of audience this is meant. Probably existing Vaina fans, and if there are not any in their neighborhood, then I don't know what really to tell about this album, except you gotta find it out. I think what describes this band perfectly is their Bandcamp words. That's not really praising this album or saying anything like lots of reasonable things, but more like not giving a fuck. And I think that sums up the game here very well. Then we have an album. This is officially listed as an album by Mind Pollution by a band called Lies, ! With a lot of storm going on. Now, there are songs enough to justify an album, but let's be honest about it. This is 14 minutes. Now, if that justifies an album, I am Tarzan. And this is how it looks like. A digipack of sorts. And guys looking angry and all. And the music is indeed very, very angry, which I think is a good thing when we're talking about crusty, metallic, hardcore punk. I mean, it's weird that Metal Archives considers this metalcore. To be honest, in my opinion, metalcore sounds very, very different. This is more like getting old school hardcore punk with lots of angriness, lots of heaviness, lots of heavy riffing, and being back to the very simple ideas here, and as such I think the job is pretty well done. Now, if only the songs were really, really a little bit more better, I would really call it a good album right out of the bat. Now it's more like work in progress, but calling 14 minutes of an EP an album is like, come on guys, you either have to be fooling around, or you have to be joking, or you're like trying to cash in some money. I don't know, but when it comes to the quality of music, can't really bitch about it. I mean, it does its job. It's heavy and violent and aggressive, and I kind of feel like, yeah, if only it was a little bit more trashy or at least catchy in those rather simplistic, boneheaded riffs, I would really like, yeah, it's really good. Now it's more like, yep, quite nice, and definitely right up your alley if you're into the genre to begin with. Can't really bitch about production or vocals. They're like pretty much good and solid for this kind of game. And now we move on to the best of the pile. This came actually double copy here, and this is an MCD or EP with still some 30 minutes of music. So see my point here. This is Krvna, or you might just call it Krvna. The Rhythmus of That Eternal. I think originally this was from Eastern Europe, but can't really remember the actual place. So let's call it maybe somewhere around Czech Republic or sorts. If I'm now offending someone, like, hey, that's not my home country, apologies for that. I don't really remember at this point, but what matters more, in my opinion, is that officially these days the band is from, nowadays the band is from Australia. So wherever it comes originally doesn't even matter at this point, but the home base for the country. So this is how the tape looks, blue, and then you have these poison green covers. You might have noticed it says here quite a few songs, that is 5 in total, including Man of Iron, a Bathory cover, but these couple of covers here are they are cover songs. These are not even listed on Metal Archives. When I was checking out the track listing and getting the links for this review, which you should find in the description box, it's like officially this seems to have 3 songs, and it might show you a little bit shorter version on Metal Archive site. What you really have here on this Digipack CD and on the tape. And I'm checking out, just making sure there are no lyrics whatsoever. Yeah, this is just really slim case, not Digipack as such. Now the music here is somewhat melodic, somewhat modern, black metal, but still having pointers towards the 1990s. I mean, you're getting the kind of a vibe that this could from late 90s, early 2000s, or just 2024, which is the case with here, with this one. And as much as I like the previous album, I mean, it was one of the better ones from 2023, or officially might have been late 2022. Not exactly sure, but I was in Spain last year, roughly this time of the year, February or March, when I got the album, the second one. And I think it was like good one. Now, this is kind of good too, much like the Sempifernus, the debut one. I'm not actually sure now. I'm thinking about it, whether it was EP or first album, but if my memory serves me well, that was actually the official debut album, and the one I'm talking about with the bat cover and all, fine something. That was the second album. But be it as it may, I would say the first one, Sempifernus, was like pretty good, and then the album that came out after that was the one that pretty much nailed it for me. This is a little bit like a step down for a couple of reasons. First of all, this isn't as memorable and as catchy, as powerful, as impactful as the previous one, but still pretty good. And then there are a couple of covers. Of a bigger cover, I don't really have anything bad to say, but the Bathory cover being a Viking metal song twisted into black metal song, to be honest, I wish I could love it more. I mean, I do love black metal Bathory. I do love Man of Iron and, albums like Blood on Ice, etc. But this song doesn't really work that well transferred, or whatever you want to call it, transmorphed into black metal version. I mean, it's more like, yeah, I kind of get where you're trying to go, but it doesn't really work for like that. So this ends the EP rather like, I don't know, could have left it out and just, been better without it. It's not like it's gonna ruin this, but sometimes, picking the best fights, best battles for your game is better than including everything. Now, other than that, this is pretty good of an EP. I'm saying this is really close to the album I'm talking about, the previous one from 2022 to 2023, but not quite as good. So if you like that one, there's no reason why not to check this one out, but I would say the quality is a little bit down. Maybe the next one will, once again, be something really great and all. but we shall wait for that and all. So once again, 3 different releases, one from Finland being experimental, hardcore punk from Netherlands I think, and then something melodic black metal from Australia. 3 different styles and not really comparable as such, but obviously you figure out which one works for you, and you will find links provided in the description box. So start listening and figure out which one you like, if anything, and come back to me if you have any questions or comments. Thank you and bye bye.